Hey, so in this video we're going to take a closer look at my kitchen setup and everything I use in the van to cook and prepare food. Okay, so this is my little kitchen area here. Just at the end of my bed I have this little stand, and I do use this dishpan tub. It's kind of a mess. What I really want to do is build a drawer that I can pull out here. The reason why I haven't done that yet is because if I do that, I won't be able to open my fridge. So what I want to do is build a setup to where the fridge is sitting on a slide out platform, so I can slide the fridge out to clear the drawer that I would have in there, and then have a big deep drawer for all of my stuff that's basically sitting in this dish pan. Stuff like utensils, coffee filters, bread bowl, cutting boards, which is broke. I need to replace that. It would just be a great spot to, instead of having this on my bed and then when I go to sleep I have to put this up over here. So I'm kind of doing this rearranging act every day, a few times throughout the day. So that's something that I would like to do. I do have this little fold out table here that I use my walking stick to prop up. It gives me some extra room if I need to prepare more food. I rarely use it. For my trash setup, I usually just use a plastic bag hanging on my door there, and that way as I'm cooking I can just discard anything I need into the trash. Okay, so we'll look at my propane stove here first. I've got the Coleman. It's made by Coleman. It's called the Power Pack propane stove, single burner. I believe they do make a double burner as well. It works out great. It has a very small footprint as opposed to the big double burner ones. I have considered getting the double burner just because it would make cooking a lot easier. There's a lot of things that I'm shuffling around pans with when I prepare meals on just the single burner, but the small footprint really makes it convenient as far as storing. So I've been happy with that. I do have a bigger bulk tank that I can use instead of these small green bottles, but I'm having issues with the hose right now, so I've kind of reverted back to using these green bottles. It's really efficient on fuel, so I can get away with one of these bottles for weeks, almost a month of pretty much daily cooking. Okay, something else that's very important in my kitchen setup is this spray bottle, and this spray bottle is filled with just distilled white vinegar. This is reduced with water to 4% acidity. They do make a cleaning vinegar that I think is 6 or 8%, but I just get the regular distilled white vinegar and I use it for cleaning. What I do is that anytime I make a meal and I'm done cooking, I spray down my stove, wipe it up with a rag or paper towel. Same thing with my dishes. I'll spray my dishes or my pan. I have my pan. This is my primary pan that I use for most meals. It's Teflon, so it's really easy once I'm done. I just wipe out the excess food debris, spray it down with the distilled vinegar, let it sit for a minute or two, and then wipe it clean, and it really does a great job. Vinegar does have a antibacterial quality to it, and it does break down oil quite well, so that's been working out really good for me. It's something that keeps me from using a ton of water to do dishes and heating up water. I just try to keep it as simple as possible. Okay, so something else I have hiding down here in my little kitchen area, you probably can't see it with the shadow, but I'll pull it out. I have my cast iron skillet hanging from a nail that I put into the side of this little stand here. So I don't know the actual size of this cast iron skillet, but it works out really great. I use it primarily for making my camp stove pizzas. I've showed that in some other videos. It works out really great. So while I have this out, I'll show you another piece of equipment that I use. Alright, so this funny looking thing here, I basically use in conjunction with my cast iron skillet. This I got at Lowe's for about $4 or $5, and it's basically designed and sold to use on a grill, and you can put like veggies or smaller piece of meats that would typically fall through the slots in the grill. You can put it right on your grill and cook those. I have not used it for that, nor do I intend to. What I bought it for is I needed a way to get my cast iron skillet up off the flame a little bit, because most camp stoves, the lowest setting on the flame is still pretty darn hot. So I put that down here. What I did is I just kind of bent the tabs out on each corner a little bit, and it happens to fit perfectly and kind of seats in on my propane stove. So now I have a way to get my cast iron skillet up off the flame a little bit and kind of bake. So it's been working out really good. I primarily use this setup for when I'm doing my camp stove pizzas. It allows to get a lot more even heat on the pan, and it's a lower heat so you can cook for longer without burning the bottom of whatever you're cooking. So that's something that's come in really handy. It's kind of my secret weapon for making my camp stove pizzas. Okay, so next we're going to look at what I use for plates. These are stainless steel. I had a plate that kind of matched this plastic bowl, and it was just really easily scarred when I would cut things in it, and it would make it very hard to clean, and there'd be kind of food debris stuck in those scars from cutting in it. So I kept the bowl and aced the plate, and I was on the hunt for stainless steel plates. I saw some online that were really expensive, and I was at Walmart and I saw they have these sold as range covers. They're apparently supposed to cover up your gas range for whatever reason, and I thought they would make perfect plates, which they do. There's two bigger ones and two smaller ones, so I have more than enough plate than I actually need, and I will actually use these as well. The big one covers my cast iron skillet perfectly, and the smaller one covers my little Teflon skillet perfectly. So I use them for lids on my fry pans to keep down like any splattering grease from getting over into my bed area, since my kitchen is so close to my bed. Okay, so for saucepans, I just have this one here. I use this for doing things like rice and pasta, and then I have a smaller one here that I'll heat up soup and heat up the water for my coffee on a daily basis. And this one kind of has these fold up handles, so I can store it right in this saucepan, put the lid on it, and it makes it for a little bit easier storage. Okay, so this is kind of my makeshift setup for storing some of my kitchen stuff. I have my spatula and bamboo spoon here. This is a sack that I keep full of empty plastic grocery bags that I use for trash bags, so that's where I store those. There's my Teflon skillet, my coffee cone filter. I use that all the time. So I do use this little area to store some things. My paper towel holder there. Okay, so for utensils, try to keep it real simple. Just have this camp utensil set up, spoon, fork, knife. I have a little paring knife. Then I also have this utensil set up. I have misplaced the fork and knife, but it did have a fork and knife, plus the spoon and a pair of chopsticks. They're all bamboo, and it came with this nice little pouch. I think I got this off of Amazon. It's to-go-ware, so that comes in real handy. It's kind of my second set of utensils. Okay, and then I have my main cutting knife. You can't really see it down here probably, but I've taken, this is my main cutting knife, really good, sharp cutting knife, and it came with a little plastic holster for it that I mounted down here so I can just slide it out of the way, and it's just right there. So it's super easy. As I'm preparing food, I can just reach down, pull that right out, and then put it away when I'm done with it. So that works out really awesome. Okay, so the next item that's really important in my kitchen setup is a cutting board. I need a place to cut and prepare my food, and this cutting board does the trick. It's small enough to where it fits on this little section of table here. I usually have my stove slid over like this, so it works out really, really great. Unfortunately, I just broke this yesterday. I think I was trying to cut on it and had it hanging over the edge and put too much pressure and it snapped. So I need to replace that ASAP. Okay, another important part of my kitchen I always take for granted and sometimes forget about here is my water source. I use a 2-gallon refillable water jug. I have a 6-gallon jug up front that I can refill this from if need be. These are real slick. These pumps go for about 10 bucks at Walmart. You just push down on this plunger here, water comes right out the spout, and this is part of my kitchen. When I'm going to cook rice or something, I can just put my saucepan right underneath here, push the plunger, and I've got water without using any electric pumps or anything like that. So it works out really good. Alright, so that's my simple camp kitchen in the van. I do have a gas grill also that I store underneath my bed in the back of the van that I use for outdoor cooking sometimes. But as far as the in the van setup, that's pretty much what I use. I've been getting by for over 2 years like this, and it's really, for me, it's simple. I find that I'm cooking more than I ever have in my life. It allows me to save a lot of money, and it's fun. I enjoy cooking. Something about doing it in the van here, the process is just so simplified that it's really really easy for me just to get into it. As I'm cutting and preparing and cooking, I'm really excited about the great food that I'm going to eat because I know I've made it myself. I've experimented with different things, and I found the things that I really enjoy to eat. And just having that going on in my life, having such a personal hand in feeding myself rather than just going somewhere and buying pre-prepared food, eating out, fast food, all that, it's just much more fulfilling for me to make my own food. And doing it in the van, it's a blast. I usually have an awesome view like this out my kitchen window, so it just really is a great thing.